Shalom WJC family. It's time for our weekly Torah Talk. I'm back from my summer break. It's nice to be able to speak to you again through this video format as we begin a new book of the Torah, the book of Devarim, or Deuteronomy in English. The fifth book of the Torah is almost completely a speech by Moshe, by Moses, just as the people are going to cross into the promised land. Usually we would say in shorthand they're on the plains of Moab, across on the east bank of the River Jordan, ready to cross into the promised land. And the rabbis look at this book of this speech, this long speech by Moses, and they say, this is a book of tochacha, a book of rebuke. That Moses is going to make them face some hard truths about who they are and what it means to be the Jewish people, to be Israelites in the world, to bring Torah into the world, and how to find a path forward once their great leader and teacher, our great leader and teacher, Moses, is no longer with them. Because he, of course, will not cross into the promised land. But the plains of Moab isn't exactly the right way to say this. Right? That's shorthand for what, in fact, it says, Ela hadivrim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael. These are the things that Moses said to the entire people of Bnei Yisrael. Be'ever HaYarden. Well, they were on the other side of the Jordan. Bamidbar ba'arava. Mol Suf ben Paran. Uvein Tofel v'Lavan v'Chatzerot v'Di Zahav. So where were they? Through the wilderness, in Arava, near Suf, between Paran and Tofel, Lavan, Chatzerot, and Di Zahav. It's a lot of geographic triangulation there, or I don't know what you would say, whatever the version of having 6 points of those would be, instead of triangulation, something with hexangulation, really getting specific to where they are. Why all that detail? Let's just say Moses said this stuff to the people on the plains of Moab. So Rashi points out two things about this. One, he goes through all those different places and he says they have deeper meanings. And most of the commentaries follow suit. You know, when it says this name, it's a hint towards this incident or this tendency on behalf of the people that he's going to rebuke them for. So this is like sort of easing into the speech. And Rashi also points out, it says Moshe said it to all the people of Israel, call Bnei Israel. Everyone was there together. So Rashi says, why was everyone there together? Rashi says so that nobody could later say, I didn't hear it. You got the tochacha, you got rebuked, but me, I was fine. Everyone was there together. They could disagree about the interpretation, but they couldn't disagree that this speech, that this idea was intended for them. And all the different places, I already mentioned, Rashi interprets them as hints. Different rabbis interpret them as different kinds of references, trying to figure out where these places are. I want to say something else about it. So Moses has all the Israelite people there together, because, as a colleague of mine put it today, and I thought it was a beautiful idea, Devarim, the book of Devarim, is in fact like Moshe's ethical will. Right? This is Moshe's final message to the people. He's going to be dead within depending on how you interpret it, a few days, a few weeks. And this is his last message. Of course, all the people need to be part of this ethical will. So he needs all the people to be together for the reading, so to speak. So then why start with all these different geographic locations? So I think that there's something to be said for, before you can know how to move forward in the world, you need to know where you are. I was speaking to a friend about a week ago, and we were talking about perspective and how the world feels mad right now, and everything's changing, and it's so hard to know what to do. And I said, the first step in knowing what to do is knowing exactly where you are in that swirling mess, where you're grounded, who you are, what your purpose is. The metaphor I used, which I did not make up, I can't remember where I got it, was a person on a boat tied to the shore, many meters away, and they're pulling themselves in on this rowboat, bit by bit. Now, they are standing still, and from their perspective, it looks like they are just standing on a boat, and the shore is coming towards them. Of course, we know the shore's not moving. They're moving. But they don't understand where they are. If you don't understand where you are on the boat, it can be deceiving. So the world looks like it's changing, but actually we're the ones who are unanchored. And what Moses is telling us in this introduction, or the Torah is telling us by talking about all these places, whether we take them as metaphors or hints at places or actual places, is that before we can understand how to follow Moshe's instructions, how to be the people of the Torah in the world, we need to understand where we are. Geographically, sure, but spiritually as well. What our role is in the world. What is the mission of the Jewish people? I think this is a keen insight, and especially important for this moment. Why? Because we are being bombarded by information, by people telling us how we're supposed to feel about things, by conflicting emotions that are very, very hard to hold together. If we're on a rowboat, forget the rope. We are just being bombarded by wind and waves and who knows what else. All kinds of things pushing us around and telling us how to be. And if we are unanchored, we are going to be all over the place. And I think a lot of us feel that way. And Moshe is telling us, if we feel that way, it's time to dig in to our Jewish identity, dig into our Torah values, to try and understand who we are, so that every time someone tells us how we're supposed to feel, we can say, yes, I feel that, or maybe I don't feel that. And you can't tell me how I'm supposed to feel. When someone tells us what we're supposed to do about something, that we can say, I have this grounding, I have this yardstick, this Torah by which I can measure this set of values, this Jewish heritage. So I know that though your argument sounds compelling, that is not what I'm supposed to do in the world. Or yes, that is what I'm supposed to do in the world. Because I am a Jew, because I am an inheritor of this ethical will of our great rabbi, our great teacher Moshe, and because I know who I am and what I'm supposed to be in the world. If the world out there is swirling around in ways that seem impossible to understand, and that one day I'm supposed to worry about this, and the next week about that, and the next month about something totally different, maybe that's a signal to us to start really diving into our own heritage, our own values, to do some Jewish learning, to read the weekly Torah portion, to go to a class, to have a conversation about what it means to be Jewish with your peers and your friends and even your rabbi. I look forward to taking on that exploration together as we move forward in Devarim, and to try and make sense of the world at this difficult time in the strength of community. As Moses has said, Kol B'nai Israel gathered all together into one. And together, hopefully we can find that grounding, find that anchoring, and understand how best to move forward in the world. Wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Tisha B'Av is coming, an easy fast, and